We're in a neutral market. We've been very lucky here. We continue to just hold steady. Welcome to this week's look at the state of the New York City real estate market, where I take a look at the luxury market, the Manhattan market, and the Brooklyn market. I do it because I want you to be informed. It never hurts when you're a consumer to be informed. Welcome to this week's look at the state of the New York City real estate market. This report is for last week, for the week of April 10th to the 17th. We're going to start, as we always do, with the luxury market. There were 26 contracts signed last week at properties priced at $4 million and above. That is 4 more than the previous week. Condos outsold co-ops 16-5, and there were 5 townhouses in the mix. The number 1 and the number 2 properties for last week were actually duplex condos. We're going to take a look at those right now. The number 1 contract was 17S at 111 West 57th Street. It was asking $15.75 million. It was reduced from just under $18 million when the condo building started marketing off of floor plans back in 2016, which is quite a while ago. The duplex has just under 5,000 square feet. It includes 4 bedrooms, 5.5 bathrooms. It features a 33 by 15-foot living room with a double height ceiling. 111 West 57th Street is a 60-unit, 82-story building that rises 1,428 feet. It's on the former site of Steinway & Sons Piano Store. Amenities include a concierge, a fitness center, an 82-foot pool, a lounge, a terrace, a private dining room, plus a covered driveway entrance. 19 units have closed, averaging $5,254 a square foot. The number 2 contract was apartment 1112 at 225 West 86th Street. It was asking $13.195 million. This pre-war condo has 4,637 square feet. It includes 6 bedrooms and 6.5 bathrooms. It also features a 27-foot living room with a gas fireplace, a library, and an eat-in kitchen. It has an upstairs master and a second bedroom opening onto a 40-foot wide terrace. The building is called the Belnord. It is a pre-war rental building turned condo. The renovation was designed by Robert A.M. Stern. The amenities include doorman, fitness center, children's playroom, and lounge. The Belnord has received some considerable notice of late. It has appeared as a backdrop over the last 3 seasons in the Netflix series Only Murders in the Building. So you may have noticed it there. We're going to take a look now at the quick stats for the luxury market for last week. The total weekly asking price sales volume, $190,928,000. Average asking price, $7,343,385. Median asking price, $5,972,500. Average discount from original ask to last asking price, 10%. Average days on market, 658. That's it for the report for last week on the luxury market. We're going to focus next on Manhattan, and then we're going to take a look at Brooklyn. And then I'm going to sum everything up and give you my takeaways and my thoughts on best approach for buyers and sellers as this market is shifting and changing. So if we take a look at what's going on in Manhattan, and we're going to start with that 1-week look, we're going to see that we continue to stay in the neutral market. However, we are seeing some changes, and we're going to get into the details on that. If we look at the weekly pace, we see that there is a rise in the inventory over the week. 564 properties came on the market. That is a fairly sizable change, of a little over 86%, whereas the contract signed were down. 185, that is down a little over 17%. Off-market properties up 23.20%, 122. If we stand back and take a look at that 1-month view, 1,800 was a supply for the month. Contract signed 990, that's up a little under 1%, and the off-market properties has risen fairly significantly, 491 for the month, a little over 35%. The thing to note is that even though we're in this neutral market, we're beginning to see this rise in inventory outpacing a bit the demand. If we take a look at the market pulse, the thing that I want you to pay very close attention to is the very end of this chart. See how it's kind of flattening out here at the end? See how it was going up and now it's kind of flattening out. So we saw the supply was going up and up and up, and we saw the demand going up and up and up. But now what we're seeing is a kind of a flattening of this, and that may begin to be the beginning of a kind of a shift. So we're going to really be paying attention to this. Here's something that is going to continue to inform us. This is this 30-day moving window of liquidity. This is the contract activity, 990. A few weeks ago, if you recall, we were 1,100, kind of pushing that. We're kind of retreating on this liquidity. We see it dropping down, even as we see the inventory on the rise. So sellers, we may be at your kind of peak prime time for leverage. So pay attention. This may be a time when you really, really want to be getting your deal done. This could be, let's call it a sell signal. Don't miss this market. We're going to get into the details a little bit with this Manhattan supply. It continues to mirror the 2022 levels. So, we're not seeing like huge rises in the inventory. We're pretty much on track. What we're not seeing quite as much of, at least in the last week, is the demand continuing to rise commensurately. As you can see, that the pending sales, they tick up a little bit, but, it's kind of dropping off the demand. This new listing, after 2 weeks of kind of a decline in the new listings, we're seeing it kind of popping up here. And again, we are in the spring market, so we would be expecting to be seeing new listings coming on. We also see the weekly contract signed activity really dropping off. Again, holidays, school vacation, nice weather, call it whatever you want, but can't deny that it happened. We're going to have to keep an eye. Could what we're seeing in the last week or maybe two be the sign of a compressed active season? We were really hoping we were going to get all the way through. This active season was going to go all the way through May, maybe even into June. But will we get through that? We don't know. This latest information in the last week or so is perhaps telling us a slightly different story. That's why I keep such a close eye on all of this, because before we would have thought a few weeks ago, it really looked like we were going gangbusters, but we're starting to see some different information now. So we're going to keep a really close eye, continue to watch this. Let's take a look at this liquidity pace. We see this little wobble at the end of the chart. We see this, maybe we've hit the high in Manhattan. Brooklyn, slightly different story, very much because Manhattan just came out of the gate a whole lot stronger than Brooklyn. We're going to get into that, but Manhattan may have seen the high for the season. So sellers, I'm going to talk about this at the very end, but pay attention. That is it for Manhattan. Again, this is not to say anything other than too early to tell. We are very much in a neutral market in Manhattan. This is a very good market, but we are starting to see some signals, and we're going to continue to pay attention to those. If you have any questions about the Manhattan market, please post them below. I am happy to answer them. We're going to switch over. We're going to take a look at Brooklyn, and then, as I said, I'm going to sum it all up and give you my takeaways. Okay. So Brooklyn's in a different place, let's call it that, than Manhattan. And Brooklyn, as I've been mentioning, has been really kind of got a much slower start than Manhattan to the spring market. I've called it pokey, no offense, Brooklyn, but just a little slower out of the gate. Fewer properties came on the market, just took a while. The buyers were a little slower to come out. Maybe this is going to be better in the long run for Brooklyn. Manhattan was kind of a little more meteoric in its rise, gives it a little, maybe just the ups and downs are going to be felt. We're going to take a look at this 1 week market ticker. Supply 244 for last week. That's a change of 43, almost 44%. That's great for Brooklyn. We needed more supply. Contracts signed up 6.10%, 139. Off market up 18.5% at 64. The monthly pace up almost 12%, 892. Contracts signed up almost 19%, 629. Off market up 19%, 275. 629 for the liquidity pace. Again, 30-day moving window of contract activity for the Brooklyn market. Lower than Manhattan, but still up for the month, 15.2%. But again, kind of flattening out. The Brooklyn inventory, if we look at this supply chart, still a bit lackluster, but rising. The demand, again, trend remaining a bit flat, but rising. The new listings. Is the word of the day just going to be flat? It just kind of feels like it. Last week it was pokey. Now this week it's flat. Again, it's the new listings are rising, but kind of flat compared to last year. Contracts signed. Okay, not flat, but they did fall pretty significantly during the holidays. But this is what we're seeing. The holidays really had a big impact for us in Manhattan, in Brooklyn. Apparently not the luxury market. That was up, interestingly. Now, what is going on in the New York City market? What are the takeaways for buyers and sellers? From a price, we are in a neutral market in New York City. All these macro factors, all this noise that's going on, we've been very lucky here. We continue to just hold steady. Our spring market has remained in a neutral place. We have gotten through this, recovery, the downturn that happened last April and May. From a price action standpoint, we are at the highest that we have been since that period. The negotiability right now, the data that is in on that, probably 3.5%. So, buyers, here's something for you to think about. If you're trying to make a deal right now, we know that your best leverage is behind you. You may well get another opportunity. If there are things that are still sitting around in the summer months, you'll probably get another opportunity then. But if you're trying to negotiate on something right now, you're not going to get a huge amount of negotiability, especially if it's something kind of newish to the market. You'll have competition. If it's something that's been sitting around for a while, you may get a little more play. The other thing I might say to you as a buyer, if you don't see something that you like that's on the market, you heard me talk about all these off-market properties. If you're working with a broker, or you can go on Street Easy yourself and see properties that are off the market, maybe some of those sellers would consider selling their property. Might be worth an inquiry. Talked about negotiability, talked about price action. We see the weekly supply is going up. We see that the weekly contracts are going down a tad. This may be signaling, as I mentioned, a kind of a compressed active season. Hopefully it isn't, but we're going to keep an eye on that. Sellers, as I mentioned to you, while we are in a neutral market, this may be a kind of a leveling off of that best opportunity for you, where you truly had kind of parity with your buyers, where you had the most leverage. Very unlikely this is going to suddenly turn into a seller's market, but you did regain that ground, and the price action is very strong right now. So if you are negotiating with a buyer and something little is kind of standing in the way, really try to get your deal done in this market. If these indicators pan out, and it does turn out that they are signaling a compressed active season, you don't want to be hanging around when this active season is no longer active. Get your deal done, unless you just want to take your property off the market and ride it out until the market comes back your way. Okay, that's it for this week's look at the state of the New York City real estate market. Any questions, please post them below. Please feel free to subscribe if you find this kind of information useful to you. Please feel free to share these videos if you think they'd be useful to someone else. As always, my thanks to Urban Digs and to the Olshan Report for their amazing reporting. The work that they do helps me to help you to make great decisions. That's it for this week's look at the state of the New York City real estate market. I will be back in 2 weeks because next week I will be joining over 3,000 of my global affiliates at the Sotheby's International Realty Global Networking event in Las Vegas. I am doing this because, as a senior global real estate advisor and member of the Sotheby's International Realty Network, I am uniquely positioned to assist you with your real estate needs, wherever they may be, whether it's in New York or really anywhere in the world, whether it's your primary residence or an investment property or a vacation home. I can connect you to our global portfolio of stunning properties that are represented by over 1,000 affiliate offices located across over 80 countries and territories. So that's where I'm going, so that I can get to know these folks and I can connect them to you if you like. Okay, that's it. I will see you in 2 weeks when I am back bringing you the very latest news about the New York City real estate market. In the meantime, take care.